Today is March the 12th, and the market is down again. And there's a lot of talk about how we're going to save the market and save companies who are going to be filing for bankruptcy as a result of the C virus. I believe we've approaching and we've hit a tipping point. Now, what do I mean by tipping point? I mean a point in our lives when we will look back and say, there was before the C virus, and then there was after the C virus. Has this happened before? Yeah, in the financial world, I've experienced it twice. One was the dot-com bubble, where the NASDAQ market lost 78% of its value over a period of a year. And then there was the subprime crisis, where the overall market lost about 50% of its value. And that was basically in the banking sectors, the housing sectors, and the stock market as a whole took a crash. And then there was a different world after that. Now, why are tipping points important? If you're an investor, they're important because if you can recognize this change that is going to be coming as a result of an event, you can position yourself in a position where you're going to benefit by ownership of companies that are going to benefit as we come out of the crisis, beyond the tipping point. What might that be? I did a video yesterday on the African swine fever, in which I explained that roughly 50% of the pigs in China were either died or the herds were culled because they had this fever. And that then prompted Smithfield Farms here in the United States to be sending 10,000 pigs, carcasses, to China a day. Well, if you would go back and find a chart on pork bellies for August of 18, you would see that pork bellies were selling for $50.22 in August of 18. By March of 19, the price on pork bellies had gone up to $97.12. So by recognizing that tipping point, you would have doubled your money. And since it's futures contracts, you would have probably quadrupled, or I don't know, substantially increased your money. So the question then becomes, if this is a tipping point and the society is going to change, then where should I position myself to take advantage of this change? What I want to emphasize, first of all, before I get into what I believe are going to be the opportunities that are going to be presented and the changes that are going to occur, I want to emphasize now is not the time to buy. We are not at the bottom, to my way of thinking. There is a lot of talk about how there is going to be interest-free loans funded by the federal government to keep companies afloat, like the airlines, like the cruise ships. Heck, I just read in this morning's paper where Viking Cruise, which is a riverboat cruise and a sea cruise, closed down operations until May. They've just said, no, we are not going to expose ourselves to it, and we're going to close down operations. We've seen that March Madness is going to be played to empty stadiums. These are some rash changes that are happening, and if you interpret those changes properly, you're going to then buy companies that are going to come out the other side on the top. Just as if you had known about the pork bellies in August of 18, you would have bought the pork bellies and you would have benefited. So what are the changes? Well, I would say to you, just watch the evening news. I watch Lester Holt. Lester Holt tells me what's happening. All I got to do is then interpret it. Like what he made the statement that schools were closing. I believe it was Harvard University has sent students home and said you can monitor your classes online from this point on, and the comment was made, it really won't affect anybody except people who have labs. Do you think that maybe there will become a recognition that students don't have to be housed in a dormitory and then shuffled to a classroom in order to be educated. Jack Welch talked about this. Rest in peace, Jack Welch died just about a month ago. He talked about this about 7 years ago, shortly after he gave up General Electric, and he had put a lot of money into creating online universities because he believed, and also Elon Musk has said, that the university of today is passé. It is not something that is going to survive. I think as a result of all these students being sent home, they're going to learn that. And their parents are going to ask questions. And they're going to say, well, maybe it isn't really necessary. Yeah, but I'm going to miss all the student experience and all that. We'll get to that. And this is where you're going to learn how the tipping point and where you should go to take advantage of it. The other thing that Lester said is how the airlines have developed new cleaning materials in order to clean the airlines while they're sitting between flights, and it's all going to be safe. I'm not going to get on an airplane anytime soon. I'm not going to get on a cruise ship anytime soon. My cousins and I and my brothers were planning a cruise for February of 2021. It's on hold. We don't know what we're going to do because, again, we're in our 70s. We're the target market for the C virus. The other thing that came to my mind that I thought about was, well, all the talk about the C virus is no big thing. The flu kills 100,000 people every year. What? I didn't know that. I didn't know that I've been exposing myself to potential death on cruise ships and airplanes for years now. So the mental process is changing, and it again, I talked about it as a domino. The domino is the C virus. It fell. It's not going to kill our stock market. It's going to kill people. It's then the reactions of the people that are going to change our society. And again, I want to use the word tipping point. The domino is the tipping point. So how is this? Oh, and then I want you to go back and look for the video I did on Taylor Swift and how 5G was going to change the way she did her concerts. And in that video, I said that she's going to have a camera in her hair, and her drummer's going to have a camera, and the girl in the front row is going to have a camera. And rather than do a stage performance for 100,000 people, there may only be 50 people in the audience, but through 5G, they're going to give me a lifetime experience, and I'm going to be one of several million that are going to see Taylor Swift. And I'm not going to pay $500 a ticket. I'm going to pay $25 a ticket. And Taylor will make more money that way than if she works in an audience. Now, how am I going to watch that conference? Well, I'm going to wear, have you seen these goggles that the gamers wear? And you've seen some commercials, if you're not a gamer like I'm not, how they are in virtual reality. They are moving through this maze, and they're shooting people, and they're blowing up all around them, and it's virtual reality. Well, that's going to become a part of our life, and we're going to be wearing those goggles, or maybe we're going to have an 80-inch TV that is somewhat beveled and has pullouts on the side. So now that goggle is my TV. And maybe I wear a pair of glasses that watch my eyes, so as my eyes move in one direction or the other, what's on the screen moves with me, much as the goggles for the gamers. Now, where is the opportunity in that? Well, who owns those goggles? Who manufactures? Mark Zuckerberg bought, I don't remember the name of the company, but he paid something like $2.5 billion for a California company, and they are the leading manufacturer. Why did Mark buy them? Because he didn't know about the virus, but he knew that was coming. What the virus is going to do is move those goggles from Mark's manufacturing facility into my home, possibly 5 years sooner. I might have them by the end of 2021. And now when I watch a professional football game, there will be no fans in the audience, in the stadium. Maybe a few, but not 100,000 people like in the past. And when Tom Brady goes back to throw a pass, he'll have a camera on his helmet. And I'll be watching him in this helmet. And as he throws back to throw a pass, I'll switch to the receiver that I spot down the right sideline. And as he throws it, I'll be there to catch the pass. And I'll experience, and I'll scream with joy. And Tom Brady will hear it, because it will interact that fast. The stands will be full, but there will be no one there. And my wife will be wearing her goggles, and she's watching, and she's a Philadelphia Eagle fan, and she's watching the linebacker who's rushing through the defensive tackle and hammering him and almost gets Tom before he throws the pass. And that's what sports will come to. 5G will take it from the stadium, and we'll make a conscious decision. I don't want to go to the stadium. I can see the game better in my living room, and I can invite my friends over. Then I want you to think about a commercial you've seen on TV. You've seen this commercial where this dude's working on a whiteboard in a stadium type classroom, auditorium type classroom, and this girl pulls out a kazoo and starts playing the kazoo, and another girl up on the top row pulls out her kazoo, and they get up and they walk out and go down the building, and a whole group of people gather around and they're playing the kazoo. What the hell's that all about? What that's all about is Mark Zuckerberg has recognized that you're going to want to be on a Patriots Facebook group page while you're watching that game. So when they go to a commercial, you can interact with other Patriot fans on that Facebook group page. And so now that experience that you're not having in the stadium, but you're having in your family room, is better. And you will make a conscious choice not to spend, $300 on a ticket to go into the stadium. You'll spend maybe $30 for you and your family to experience it at your home. This is a tipping point. This is what's coming in the future. 5G will deliver this. And you need to recognize that when the time is right, when the market has dropped, you need to buy Facebook. Now, I want to talk about another thing that I've been beating on for Jeff Bezos is possibly the best businessman in the world. What is the most important thing on Jeff Bezos's table right now? What is it he wants more than anything else? Yeah, he's got the Go store, and he's going to put that hardware and that technology in every retail store across the nation, and he's going to sell that much as he sold the service of Amazon Web Services. Yeah, he's going to do that. But what he really wants is to get in your house and get in your car and get on your wrist. He wants Alexa to hear and do and give you advice. He wants to put a voice-activated operating system in every place you go, because he knows that is going to give him all the data he needs to help you live a better life and to help him sell you more things. He wants this more than anything else, because this is big data. This is artificial intelligence. Ask yourself, who has the quantum computers who are going to be able to manage and sort the big data? It's Amazon, it's Google, and it's Microsoft. If you don't buy those three companies, did I mention Apple? At the bottom of this market, you're crazy. If you don't read this book, The Big Nine, you're standing behind a rock and you can't see what's going on. If you don't read this book, The Accidental Superpower by Peter Zium, and then read his new book, The Disunited Nations, that just came out March the 3rd. If you don't read those three books, and there's a link to each one of them in my description. If you don't read these, get the hell out of investing, because this is going to give you a leg up. You're going to understand why this is a tipping point and what you need to do and what you need to be watching for, so that when the next tipping point comes, and again, forget the next one, just be in a position to buy the companies that are going to benefit from this tipping point.